I'm here with Breslaw. He's the Couchbase Head of Marketing for EMEA and APJ. Welcome, Jez.
Hey, Paul. Good to be here.
Now, you describe yourself, sir, as a sales leading marketing person. What's one of those?
If you look at my career, most of it has been in field marketing, supporting typically US corporate software enterprise IT companies. Being in the field means I have to work side by side, arm in arm with a sales leader. We are equals and we have to go to market together to truly do an effective job. He or she can't do it without me and I can't do it without them. This has built a foundation for my understanding of marketing, that marketing can't happen without really understanding what the customers and prospects want to hear and want to know. So I believe that there's two levels of my philosophy of being sales driven. One, there's a number. We have to have that in our mind at all times, because if we don't hit our number, there won't be any marketing. The second side of it is when we're building our go-to-market plans and our marketing strategies and our events and activities and digital marketing, that has to be in a message that resonates, that salespeople can use and their customers can consume. So for me, it is all about sales and marketing working arm in arm together, and that's hence why I really believe that marketing should be a sales-driven activity, certainly in the software B2B space.
You mentioned a little bit about numbers there. What are the sort of performance measures that you use to figure out whether you're going the right way or not?
Sure, I think it's changed clearly over the last kind of 10, 15 years when we think of leads and waterfall models and where we are today. Take my own company, Couchbase. We're a database company that's being used by typically software developers. And that means there's an entire developer community. So we're not just measuring on leads now, we're measuring on downloads, for example, or engagement by that developer community. Ultimately, what I really measure myself by is pipeline. And I really do believe that pipeline should be a joint owned metric, right? I don't think it should be what's marketing contributed to pipeline, what's sales contributed, what's partner. We all own it, right? We all touch all parts of that process. And that gets rid of some of the friction between those functions. But also it gives marketing a clear definition of what we're all trying to achieve, which goes back to my sales leadership point before, which is it's all about a number. Underneath that, there's a whole bunch of metrics, whether that be conversion rates of leads, meetings to opportunities to close, or whether it be engagement on and offline in your customers, users and prospects. I think measurement is a multi-dimensional answer, but certainly pipeline is at the top, and then kind of community engagement of your potential users is at the bottom.
And I know, having worked with you, that those numbers, you've really got some specifics, unlike pretty much anyone else we've worked with. But the team you work in is small, and in B2B tech marketing, they tend to be small. What are the challenges and benefits that you see from those small teams?
It's such a challenge, right? Particularly in kind of late stage startups where the business is growing really, really fast, but headcount doesn't always grow in the same speed. Yeah. One of the biggest constraints is marketing ops, right? Right now, it's so tough. It's really easy to be in a room and have a conversation and say there's 4 headcount, and who gets that? Do we get someone from France and Germany to give us local expertise? Do we hire centrally and get someone to support Marcoms, so we've got dedicated AR support and can do more PR? Do we get someone who's going to look after that developer marketing community? And do we get someone in the digital team who's going to be an expert in SEO and paid marketing? Then what about the marketing ops has got to support all of that? We've got a massive stack in our company, and we are breaking at the seams in some of those marketing ops elements, and we're looking at it very, very closely, which forces efficiency. It forces us to think how we can do things using technology and automation. But there's no question that marketing ops is a really, really short capacity in what we need. The challenge is it's really hard to show ROI in marketing ops. We're all measured on demand gen, ultimately, in what we're contributing back to the business. And it's far easier to say, if I add a field marketing person over here and I chuck dollars at it, it's going to generate me pipe. Saying I want to add someone who's going to operate Marketo and double up my team that's going to operate my analytics team, that's really hard to justify to a board. So it's a really, really important, but it's one of the biggest challenges we face right now is supporting front office marketing with back office operations.
All right, and now I'm going to make your life a little bit more difficult. A mythical €100, $100 of spend. How do you cut that pie up?
That's a really tough question, right? Because it used to be simple, right? We said I'll spend 20% on awareness and PR, and I'll spend 15% on back office and ops. My complexity is, if you think internationally, I've got to think, first of all, I've got to think the discipline, like PR, demand gen, partner marketing, developer marketing, and so on, and all of those things. Yeah. and then I've got to subset that over the countries or overlay that with the countries. So yeah, sure, it's easy in the UK where I've got a team of 10 or more quoted sales reps. But what about the emerging countries? What about countries that are growing, Spain, Nordics, where we are doubling up and getting 2 or 3 salespeople, but don't yet really justify having the level of spend?
So you can avoid my question here?
I'm doing a politician's answer here, which is it's different for different regions in different situations. I do believe personally that we underspend in awareness. I think the pressure on demand gen is so high, it's really hard to keep that going. But ultimately, particularly in new regions, we have to get the engine going, and digital marketing as well. It's just so central and it's so challenging. You take Germany, it is so difficult doing digital marketing in Germany today.
Because of privacy.
As we have to spend more dollars to get equal or less return. So it is tough, but I would say 15-20% on awareness and PR. Partner marketing's got to be another kind of 10 or 15% in my world. Back office is probably about 10-15%, but the other 50% or so, if my maths is right, it's got to be on demand gen, if not more.
Got it, brilliant. Okay, you did answer it, thank you. So a lot of us in tech marketing aspire to be the chief marketing officer. That role's changed a lot. In your view, you've seen a bunch of them, worked with a bunch of them, probably one day will be one. So can you tell me what those attributes for a top CMO for a B2B tech company is?
Sure, less of the possibly, but so for sure, right? And I think like one now. So the reality is that marketing is the glue between all functions of a company, and that's one of the reasons I love my job, right? It's because I work with every part of a company in order to do what I do. But on top of that, marketing at the CMO level has to be leadership. It has to be a leadership in engaging and motivating and inspiring the company to move forward, but also to evangelize the message and position and the go-to-market that the company does. It's such a crucial role and very different to a CEO role. So I believe the CMO has to be that passion, it has to be the drive, it has to be the energy that brings disparate parts of the company together to get to a common goal. But equally, that person has to be a real data-driven leader who can look at the data and make decisions for the business, still using gut feeling, still using instinct, still using experience, but be able to get hold and take advantage of data to make some of the hardest decisions that companies have to make at that stage.
So quite a lot's changed. Jez, thanks so much for your time. Appreciate you spending it with us. Thank you.
Right, thank you.